the last video, we talked about how we can identify keys from key signatures. In this video, we are looking at some real music and see if we can apply the theory to find the keys. Honestly speaking, there are no specific rules or steps to analyze the key. The more information we get from the music, the more accurate we can identify the key. Besides key signatures, I always refer to the chords used in the music as well. However, if there is only the music but no harmony, are there still any clues for us to find the keys? Also, another question is that, even though we are now quite familiar with the relationship between key signatures and keys, major and its relative minor share the same key signature. How can we distinguish if the music is in major or in minor? Here is the first example. Firstly, we look at the key signature. If there are no sharps or flats, it can be C major or its relative minor. Let's have a quick revision about relative minor. Relative minor is a minor third lower than the major, so we have A minor. You can always go back to the video Music Theory 3 Keys 1 for major and relative minor. And I will check the phrases because musical phrases usually have the tendency to the tonic or the dominant. This is not compulsory, but it is one of the clues. In the first phrase, the music starts with the note C. If it is C major, it will be the tonic. If it is A minor, it will be the median. I tend to think it is the tonic, cause it sounds more common to start with tonic than median. But I cannot draw the conclusion yet. I'll also check the end of the phrase. It ends with the note G. If it is C major, it will be the dominant, while if it is A minor, it will be the leading note. Then, I'm more confident that this is the dominant and the key is C major. How about the second phrase? If I stick to C major, it starts with tonic, also ends with tonic. It sounds very reasonable. Now I have the conclusion. This music is in C major. Let's listen to it and see if our ears agree with our analysis. Yes, it is a major key. Can we try another piece of music? There are two sharps, so it can be either D major or B minor. You may also notice that there are A sharp. It reminds us of B harmonic minor, where the leading note is registered as accidentals. Now, let's look at the first note. If it is D major, it will be submedian, while if it is B minor, it will be tonic. This gives more evidence to B minor. Let's move on to the end of the music. It ends with the note B, which again, the tonic for B minor. So, we can conclude that this piece is in B minor. Let's listen to it. It sounds like a minor key too, doesn't it? Another example. There are four sharps, so it can be either E major or C sharp minor. The music starts with E, tonic for E major or median for C sharp minor. It's more like a tonic. Similarly for the end of the phrase. Assuming this is E major, let's check if it is reasonable for the last phrase too. It starts with B, which will be dominant, and it ends with E, which is tonic. It looks good, right? Oh wait, you may argue that there is A sharp here. Perhaps it's the submedian in C sharp ascending melodic minor. But if we look at the second phrase, it starts with B, and the strong beat of the end of the phrase is also B, which is the dominant of E major. The A is raised just for adding color to the phrase, but it may not have the function to the key. So I will stick to E major here. Let's listen to it. At the beginning, it is obviously in the major, and then you may hear the instability created by A sharp in the second phrase, but then it goes back to the major key. Can we look at this piece? Firstly, it can be D major or B minor. The music starts with F sharp, which is mediant for D major or dominant for B minor, and the first phrase ends with C sharp, which is leading note for D major or supertonic for B minor. This is not very direct, although I tend to think it is more a minor key. So I go on to look at the second phrase. And the second line is clearer. It starts with B, which is the tonic of B minor, also ends the phrase on the tonic of B minor. We'll look into it when we talk about chords, but I would say this is in B minor. Let's listen to the tune. Let's look at Greensleeves. This is either G major or E minor. There are C sharps and D sharps throughout the piece, and this probably indicates the scale of E melodic minor. The first phrase can be from Alles to wrong, and it ends with E, which is the tonic of E minor. But since the semiquaver is rather short, I will treat it as a subphrase and make Alles to discourteously as one complete phrase. The first note of the first complete bar is G, which is tonic for G major or mediant for E minor. Well, it is not very clear in this stage, so we move on and look at the whole phrase. The phrase ends with B, which is mediant of G major or dominant of B minor. If we further look at the end of the whole song, it ends with E. This is the tonic of E minor. So, it is quite clear that it's in E minor. Let's listen to it, and we can keep an eye to the notes C sharp and D sharp and hear the sound of melodic minor. Well, these are the examples that I want to share with you on how I approach a piece of music and decide what key it is in, especially to distinguish between major and minor keys. However, this is not the only way to find the key, and as I said before, the more information we get from the music, the more accurate we can identify the key. In the next video, we will talk about another important element in music, chords. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.